റെഡിയാണ്. തുടങ്ങിക്കോ.
ഇന്ന് ഈ മീറ്റിംഗിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്നേഹാഭിവാദ്യങ്ങൾ അർപ്പിക്കുകയാണ്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ ഡിസ്കഷൻ ലീഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഫ്രാൻസിസ് ജോസഫ് സാർ. ഈ സംരംഭകത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു കൺസെപ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരുപാട് വൈദഗ്ധ്യമുള്ളവര് 30-40 വർഷമൊക്കെ ഓരോ മേഖലകളിൽ പ്രവർത്തിച്ച് വിരമിച്ച് വീട്ടിൽ സ്വസ്ഥമായിരിക്കുന്നവരുണ്ട്. അവരുടെ വൈദഗ്ധ്യം അങ്ങനെ പാഴായി പോകാതെ പുതിയ തലമുറയ്ക്ക് എങ്ങനെ പകർന്നു കൊടുക്കാൻ കഴിയും എന്നാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ കുറെ ആളുകൾ ചിന്തിച്ചത്.
അവിടെ നെറ്റ് പ്രശ്നമായെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യാം, ഞാൻ കൂടുതൽ ചെയർമാൻ്റെ ലൈൻ എന്തോ തകരാറുണ്ടെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. നമുക്ക് പ്രോഗ്രാമിലേക്ക് കയറാം. ഇന്നത്തെ പ്രോഗ്രാം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്നെ കേൾക്കാമല്ലോ എല്ലാവർക്കും അല്ലേ? എയറോസ്പേസ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിങ്ങിൽ നമ്മളൊരു വെബിനാർ നേരത്തെ നടത്തിയിരുന്നു. അതിൻ്റെ രണ്ടാമത്തെ ഫോളോ അപ്പാണ് ഇന്ന് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. എയറോസ്പേസ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിങ്ങിൽ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ISROയിൽ 40 വർഷത്തെ ദീർഘകാലമായ പരിചയമുള്ള ഫ്രാൻസിസ് ജോസഫ് സാറിനെയാണ് നമുക്കിന്ന് പ്രോഗ്രാം അവതരിപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളത്. അദ്ദേഹം ഇന്ന് ഈ ISROയിൽ ഏതൊക്കെ രീതിയിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് അദ്ദേഹം അവതരിപ്പിക്കും. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ അവതരണത്തിന് ശേഷം സംശയങ്ങൾ ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് നമുക്ക് ചർച്ച ചെയ്യാനുള്ള അവസരമുണ്ടാവും. അപ്പം പ്രസൻറ്റേഷന് വേണ്ടി ഫ്രാൻസിസ് സാറിനെ ക്ഷണിക്കാം. സാർ.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel Matti. I also thank all the organizers of this forum, Samrambhak Mithra, for permitting me to give this small presentation. So the purpose is already defined by Samuel Matti sir. So I will continue. Language എന്തെങ്കിലും റെസ്ട്രിക്ഷൻ ഉണ്ടോ? മലയാളം ഓർ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്?
ഇല്ല, കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
സോ ഐ ക്യാൻ യൂസ് ബോത്ത്. രണ്ടും ഞാൻ മോശമാണ്. So
bilingual.
So I will start by sharing the screen. സ്ക്രീൻ കാണാവോ?
ഫുള്ള് വന്നില്ല സാർ.
ഒന്നില്ല. ഇറ്റ് ടേക്സ് ടൈം. ഇപ്പോഴെങ്ങനെയാണ്? ചെറുതായിട്ട് കാണാനുണ്ടോ?
ഒരു സ്ട്രിപ്പ് മാത്രം വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഒരു ഒളിയ സ്ട്രിപ്പ്.
ഓക്കെ. I have given share screen but takes time. ഞാൻ ഒന്നും കൂടെ ട്രൈ ചെയ്യട്ടെ. എന്നാൽ
ഒന്നുകൂടെ ട്രൈ ചെയ്തിട്ട് സാറ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യും, സാറ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് സ്പീച്ചിലേക്ക് കയറിക്കോ. അപ്പോൾ പിന്നെ ഇത് കയറി വന്നോളൂമല്ലോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യണ്ട.
ഓക്കെ. ഇപ്പോൾ സ്ക്രീൻ ഇല്ലല്ലോ. ഇപ്പോൾ സ്ക്രീൻ ഇല്ലല്ലോ.
ഇല്ല സ്ക്രീനില്ല. സ്ക്രീൻ വന്നു, പക്ഷേ അത് പ്രസൻറ്റേഷൻ്റെ ഹോമിലാണ് നിൽക്കുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ കിട്ടിയാലും മതി സാർ, കേട്ടോ.
ഇറ്റ് മേ ബി ടു സ്മോൾ അല്ലേ, വളരെ ചെറുതായിരിക്കില്ലേ?
വളരെ ചെറുതാണ്, പക്ഷേ അത് പിന്നെ എക്സ്പാൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ, ഫുൾ സ്ക്രീനിലേക്ക് ആക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനെ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ഗെറ്റിംഗ് അപ്പ്. വരുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ സൈസ് കൂട്ടുകയാണ്.
വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ കറക്റ്റ് ഡൺ.
ഷെയറിങ് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കട്ടെ.
ഷെയർ ചെയ്തു. അത് സാറ് അനിമേഷനിലേക്ക് സൈഡ് ഷോ കറക്റ്റ്
ഇപ്പോൾ കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ?
കാണുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ.
ഓക്കെ. ഇപ്പോൾ ഫുൾ സ്ക്രീൻ ആയോ?
ഫുൾ സ്ക്രീൻ ആയി. ഒരു പിന്നെ ബോട്ടം ലെവൽ ഇച്ചിരി വരാനുണ്ട്. കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
ഇപ്പോഴോ?
കുഴപ്പമില്ല. കറക്റ്റാണ്.
ഓക്കെ. അപ്പം ഇതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഇന്നത്തെ ടോപ്പിക്ക്, ISRO സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ്. ഞാൻ ISRO റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളത് ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് എയറോനോട്ടിക്കൽ ഏരിയ ഇറ്റ് ഹാസ് ബീൻ കവേർഡ് ഇൻ ഏർലിയർ സെഷൻ. സോ വിൽ കവർ ഓൺലി ISRO പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ്. ഇപ്പോൾ സാമുൽ സാർ എന്നോട് പറയുന്ന സമയത്ത് എനിക്ക് വലിയ അറിവില്ലായിരുന്നു ഇതിനെപ്പറ്റി. But after that, I went through a lot of information. I discussed with people. Now, this is a proper time to enter into ISRO startup. ISRO is opening next year. Already they have declared officially, but in a big way next year, ISRO is trying to bring in private partners and entrepreneurs. So there is a great opportunity in ISRO for the startups. അതിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഒരു വാർണിംഗ് തരാനുള്ളത്, ഇതെല്ലാം ഞാൻ പബ്ലിക് ഡൊമൈനിൽ നിന്ന് കളക്ട് ചെയ്ത ഇൻഫോർമേഷനാണ്. ഇത് ISROൻ്റെ ഒഫീഷ്യൽ വ്യൂ ആയിരിക്കില്ല ഒരിക്കലും. സോ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൺലി മൈ പേഴ്സണൽ വ്യൂസ്. അപ്പോൾ ISRO കൂടുതൽ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വിൽ കം മേ ബി ബൈ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയർ ബിഗിനിങ്, ജനുവരി, ഫെബ്രുവരി, more details will come. So now it is based on my information collected from public domain. ഈ സെഷൻ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് ആദ്യമേ ബ്രീഫ് ചെയ്യാം ചെറുതായിട്ട്. Awareness on startup opportunities with ISRO, which is going to be in future coming years. ഇപ്പോൾ വളരെ ലിമിറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസേ ഉള്ളൂ. ബട്ട് ദർ ആർ സ്റ്റിൽ സംതിങ് ഈസ് ദെയർ, ബട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു ബി ബിഗ് വേ, ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു ബി ദെയർ കമ്മിങ് ഇയേഴ്സ്. ചില സ്ട്രാറ്റജീസും സ്കിൽസും നമുക്ക് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാം. ദെൻ വാട്ട് ആർ ദി മേജർ ISRO സെന്റേഴ്സ്, കോണ്ടാക്ട് പോയിന്റ്സ്, some of the references.
Sir, voice is breaking. Sir, clear ആവുന്നില്ല.
വോയിസ് ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ?
അത്
നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ഇഷ്യൂ ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
അത് വോയിസ് ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്.
ക്ലിയർ ആണ്. മൈറ്റ് ബി ആഘോഷിന്റെ അവിടെ നെറ്റ് ഒന്ന് നോക്കിയേ.
അവിടുത്തെ പ്രശ്നം എനിക്ക് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്.
നന്നായിട്ട് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഇവിടെ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്.
Okay, then I will continue. Definitely this session we cannot cover any details of training skills required for startup. So our scope is only the awareness on ISRO opportunities, some of the contact points and specific skills required when you are going to interact with ISRO. We'll limit to that. ഞാൻ രണ്ട് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാം, രണ്ട് കൊട്ടേഷൻസ് കാണിക്കാം. ഇത് ഈ ഗ്രൂപ്പിൽ ആവശ്യമില്ല എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് മെന്റ് ഫോർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്. So you can keep this information available to you with you, and you can convey to other students if you require, because I think there are some students also. For other people it may not be required, because when I do programs on startups and entrepreneurships, I have seen when I ask them how many people are interested, hardly 5% people raise their hands, especially in Trivandrum. If I think Ernakulam is slightly better, Ernakulam I see 50% people are interested. So that is why I am asking why a person should be an entrepreneur. This is the reason I have got. So you can find out some literature who has told it. It may be interesting to read his books connected with him. And another quote is also required. Many people think it is very simple. Some people think it is luck. These are all not correct. Next statement is this: success is only 1% inspiration, but 99% is perspiration. That is hard work. Many students get confused now. They think only inspiration is required. It's not sufficient. A lot of hard work is involved in entrepreneurship. So we should be prepared for that. No easy drive. So these are the two things. You can find out who has told these points. These are told by famous people. You go through literature and study about that, especially students. Their books are very, very useful. So I give you some homework in the beginning itself. After the lecture, you can do it. Now, what are the aerospace sectors? You would have got some glimpse into that in earlier lectures. So according to me, there are three sectors in India. Indian Space Research Organization, definitely space-related activities. And defense aerospace is there in a big way. And then another thing is then aircraft technology. These are the three areas to my knowledge. If something else is there, you can add to this list. Maybe you can use the chat box. Probably at the end, we can see what are the additional information you can give. So here, as you know, ISRO will be covering in detail. It has got three major segments. That is what is in the space, that is mainly satellites and its communication system. And there is a ground system which consists of launch vehicles, launching operations, then the telemetry, tracking, navigation, control, and integration, testing. There are so many connected facilities. So these are the major elements. Then there is a user elements, how the data is transmitted back to the ground, how it is communicated, how it is distributed. So these are the major three segments in the aerospace. You may have some understanding of this when you get into the startup activities with ISRO, so that you should choose where you want to enter. Entering everywhere may be difficult. It's a very, very vast field. So you can select one of these fields and then start and enter into the startup activities. Of course, I told there is a DRDO, Defense Aerospace, a big way. There are a lot of startups are possible. Now, defense also is opening up to the entrepreneurship and private. Also, airlines, aircraft technology, aircraft industry, aviation. Now, we know Indian Airlines or Air India, now it is, they are bidding, they are going to sell it. And Tata is preparing grounds for buying it back. I am telling buying it back. Air India was started by Tata in the beginning, maybe even before independence. I don't remember the correct year. So it is, it will be interesting, the students especially study the history of aviation in India. It started by Tata. It is J.R.D. Tata who flew the first aircraft from Pakistan to in India, I think. At that time, I don't know, it was merged or a separate country. So he started his airlines by flying first plane in India. And after some time, okay, they probably government found it is to be nationalized, it is to be a profitable business, etc. I don't know what is the real reason for nationalizing it. But after so many years, we have found it is a wrong decision. Now we are putting it back to private sector, and Tata is a promising buyer. So this is a back history to that. But of course, that is not our topic. We will come back to ISRO activities. So when you start any topic on aerospace or a space research technology, why it is required, there is a still doubt. People are confused. I think this group, nobody is having the doubt, but in the public, many people ask, it's a wasting of money. So recently, newspaper also, there was told by a a High Court judge. It's on 11th December, it came in one of the newspapers, why you want to do rocket? Road nannakade, rocket vichittu endu karyam, idella patrathilum vannu. So this totally gives a wrong picture about ISRO in the public. So that is why I have to give 1 or 2 slides on that. It is important because you people may be knowing in this team, but you should propagate that information to public also, because public find sometimes, this useless activity we are doing. But you will see, the question is that if we stop the space activity, will our roads improve? Is it the reason? So people are trying to attach wrong reason to the big problem. Road is a problem, but Space research is not the reason. But this type of statement from people from authority, definitely public impression gets spoiled. So we are the people, people in this team, we should propagate why these type of statements are wrong. So I'll give you what are the satellite applications, space technology applications, some of them. I cannot give a full list here, as you know. But basically it is categorized, space technologies into 3 activities, mainly communication related satellites, then there is a remote sensing satellites, then space probes. These are the 3 areas. Space probes are still question mark. I will come to that, why it is required, why it is not required. See, these are some of the uses, we are daily using it. I will show 3 tables like this. You can tell anything with which, without that you can live today in this world. Now I have marked a coronavirus emblem here because this activity has become very active now because of COVID. Newspaper, now I have switched over to online. Is it possible without satellite? Every day morning I was getting a newspaper, boy was coming and putting, I was reading it. But after Corona, I switched over to the internet, net online news. So I can read the paper from my computer at the home without taking risk of Corona. So like that, there are so many other things also. Now you can see other list of activities, what you are doing using satellites and space technology. Now today's webinar itself is how without satellite we will do this webinar. So today itself we are using this platform. Now people cannot shy away from space technology and question it. It is required, but how to do it in a cost-effective way, how to do proper things, how to avoid wrong things, still it a question mark. That we will improve it, and all of us are going to contribute to that when privatization comes. Just started. Now tele-education, we know, now all students are studying through how we will do without satellite. Telemedicine, now if you are ill, you need not go to a hospital with a big risk. Many people go to hospital, come back with COVID. So you can definitely emergency consultation, you can have telemedicine, it is active now. Now there are other areas. These are the short list of areas where space research is used by common people. If without this, it is going to be a miserable condition. Disaster management, weather monitoring, the OK warning. The warning came, but somehow it missed in to reaching the users. So that is a different scenario. It is not due to the satellite or space technology. The downstream, we don't know how to use it properly so that it reaches the public. One example is tsunami warning. Now we had a tsunami, which year, I have forgotten which year, maybe a number of years back, we had a big damage. But now it can be monitored with satellites. It is being monitored with satellite. But are we getting any messages, disaster warning, are we getting to the public? It comes through TV only. But these are the areas, probably private players has to come into a big way and do it. ISRO cannot take everything. ISRO will do the space research, will place the satellites, and we will supply data to the concerned officials or concerned departments. But from that departments coming to the user is a big gap. That ISRO is not equipped to do such a thing. Here definitely I think private players, the startups can do a big role. See, if example other countries, if a lightning comes, immediately your cell phone alert comes. If there is a storm coming, your cell phone gets the warning. So are we getting such warnings? We come through only through paper and TV only. But the disaster warning should be immediate. So disaster management, there are still gaps. So this is one big area where startups can immediately reach public. So you have to bridge the gap between the departments to the public. A lot of scope of work is there. Definitely you can go into details later. Another area is doubtful. People are raising, why you are going to moon, why you are going to Mars, etc. There are different reasons for that. Probably during discussion time we'll take up that, because if I take up that discussion now, I will not be able to complete the presentation on time. It is we are nearing 6 o'clock. So in the discussion time, if you are interested, we will get into that. Now we will go for further aspects. NASA, how the aerospace, additionally they use, there are a lot of spin-offs coming out of space research. Any technology frontier we go, new technologies, entirely new technologies we develop, lot of spin-offs will come. NASA has got more than 200 spin-offs, which is useful to society, which has come out of the space technology. Solar cells is one, air purifiers, different type of purifiers, CT scan itself, medical field, but it has come from the space research. Artificial pump, the technology developed by space research, and scratch resistant lenses, and so many other activities are coming. I am giving only 6 items. There are around more than 200 spin-offs has come. In coming to ISRO also, you can see number of small spin-offs has come. Not a major things. Major things is going to come, because if you private players are coming into this field, they have got more time to link the technologies with the public and to the society. So when the private players are coming into the space technology, lot of other technologies will come. This is the another short list of technology spin-offs has come out of space research in India, ISRO. So much more are going to come coming years. Now this is the introduction. Actually, I am coming to the outline of presentation. So we will cover, as I indicated in the beginning, startup, what are the opportunities, what are the some of the strategies we can select, then what are some of the future missions and technologies which are coming, and what are the some of the ISRO centers and facilities, some contact points. And if time is available, I will cover this also, what we can learn from ISRO entrepreneurs. A few tips. I cannot cover all in this such a small session, because that itself is a big subject. But I have material on following things, but today we cannot cover it. Maybe some other occasion, if there is a group interested in that particular aspects, we will go into that, because general team may not be interested in such details. So this is my background, what is the references I have used, what all things you can use for further reading. I have got a list. So basically, as briefed, I have 40 years experience. These are my areas of work experience. I also got 10 years training experience, mentoring experience. And I already trained in following topics by various innovation centers and universities inside India and outside India. Now these are the further reading and references. You can have this. Probably those who want a screenshot, you can take it. Otherwise, I will pass on this to our organizers. They can communicate to you such details later, so that you can, if you are planning to enter into startup with ISRO, these resources will be very, very useful. That is what I think. Many more things are available. You can go through internet and get it. This is another page of references for further reading. There are still one more list. You will not go into these details. Definitely this will be shared to all participants through the organizers. Now if you have got any quick questions, you can ask here. Hope I have convinced you why space research and technology is required. All your questions you can put in the chat box. We will not answer now, because the presentation time will not be permit that. At the end, we will take up that whatever questions, comments at the end of the presentation we will take up for discussion. Now, what are the opportunities now coming up in ISRO for startups? Earlier, as I told, we have very limited startup opportunities in ISRO. There are suppliers, definitely. I will show it later. The material suppliers, component suppliers, packages suppliers, some subsystem suppliers, very limited numbers. That's all now. But that also is a big business. But future, next year onwards, big way it is going to a private sector. Even total launch vehicle, a company can produce and give it. A total satellite, a company can produce and give it to ISRO. That is the type of system which is going to be coming in future. That business will be crores. See, one satellite costs you from, a student satellite will cost you 1 crore to 10 crores. A working satellites of INSAT class or communication satellite, it is some 300 to 600 crores. So you can imagine how the business is going to grow into the private sector. So you have number of choices. You can directly supply to ISRO, or also you can supply through some of the main subcontractors. Different ways are there. We'll come to that later. But I will give a glimpse of changes, what is going to take place in ISRO, which has been come in the cabinet decision in June 2020, but it's not publicly announced. I can give only a glimpse. Details probably let it come later. When it is made public, we will give such details in another session for those who are really interested in startups with ISRO. This website also you can see investindia.government.in. It may give some of the information, but this information will grow in coming 3 to 6 months. So these are the new reforms, structure and policies defined in the June 2020 by Cabinet. Details are yet to come. So the concept is that leapfrog to the next stage of space activities, research, technology, applications. Also to become a global technology powerhouse in India regarding the space technology. Space technology definitely will spin off to so many other technologies also. English പറയുന്നോണ്ട് കുഴപ്പമില്ലല്ലോ?
ഇല്ല സർ.
Okay. Thank you. So to enhance socio-economic use of space assets and activities, very important. Your private players has to do a great job, not only technology people, social activities, they can do great job, economic activities, they can do it. There is a wide spectrum of activities are going to come. So don't think it is only science, technology alone. There are so many fields can contribute into ISRO startups. Then only society will be fully benefited. And large scale employment is going to take place, not directly through ISRO. Directly through ISRO will continue, but now more job opportunities will come up through other businesses, other startup activities, other suppliers, other development private agencies, both in employment and startup. These opportunities are going to open in a big way. Now these are the 3-4 elements already identified. ISRO, existing ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, will pursue current activities and focus more on research related activities. Research projects, launch, satellite management, etc., they will still continue. Another 3 bodies are formed. There is New Space India Limited, recently declared. They will focus on the manufacturing items outside, public interaction, etc. Then Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center in space, they are going to make mainly policy issues and large scale public interaction, etc. Antrix Corporation, already it is there, you may be aware. Now they are doing this, the marketing wing of the ISRO, through which we provide the services, satellite services, launch services, student satellites, commercial satellites, through other needy sectors, private as well as government and universities. Now this structure may get slightly changed in future, because Antrix, I don't know whether it will continue as a separate segment or will it be merged with either NSIL or in space. That is more likely, but I am not able to predict which way it will take place. There will be some more changes taking place in this. The reference I have used for some of this information is given below. You can note down and look for that. You can take a screen print. Now, what are the ISRO segments? We have told globally what are the things. Now, little more details we go into the ISRO startup segments. Definitely, launch vehicle segment is a big sector where you can try. Then there is a satellite segment, size-wise small, but business-wise it is a big area. It is much more than a launch vehicle in terms of money. Size may be small, but technology elements also is high in both these things. Now there are a lot of launch supporting facilities, also operational facilities. There are research laboratories. These are all areas where you can enter. All these things are going to open for private participation in startups, which was not earlier. Earlier it was limited. Now you can enter in different ways. You can enter in a component level supply, material supply, sub-assemblies, system level, and future you can total system you can supply. There's big players. So some big business groups can get into this area also. That is going to be new area. So startups can directly get into ISRO or through some of other players, big players. Then you can focus on products, you can focus on processes, you can focus on services, you can choose anything you can choose. Then you can enter into new technologies which was not there earlier. Earlier ISRO will make the technology, they may transfer to you, they can decide whether to transfer or not. But now opportunity comes, new technology, you can get into design, development, research area also. In tie-up with ISRO, there is the possibility any people with research trend or research spirit, they can get into that area also. That is going to be new. Technology transfer, indigenization, technology spin-offs will continue and accelerate. Now the core objective of all these activities should be to make better systems, cheaper systems, faster, lighter and smaller. Very important for space technology. This goal or directive, this drive, people should not forget. Ultimately, it should not that you bring all private players, your cost of launching becomes double. Our aim should be to bring down the cost of launch and services at least by half, or if possible by 1/5. That should be our target. If you can achieve 1/10 of the cost, it's excellent. So this should be our main objective. This privatization is not to increase the cost. Everything should be, cost should be less, performance should be much better. That goal we should never forget. Now this is, as I indicated earlier, there are space segment related to satellites and communication systems, one area. Then launch vehicles and launch segment area is another area. And ground segment, ground facilities, supporting facilities, communication facilities, operational facilities, are the three areas where you will be able to enter. Then you will get into little details on what are a launch vehicle consists of. It is only major systems I can tell. We will not get into details, there is no time. So as we know, satellite is our main objective. Actually, satellite is our main service. All other things are supporting. Launch vehicle is a supporting facility, a servicing product. The propulsion and rocket motors, these are one major subsystem. Interstate structure, that is, you have got propulsion various stages, how you connect structurally, electrically, electronically, communication wise, fluids, so many interfaces will come, communications. These are the interstages and interfaces. Then you have got a payload fairing. Basically this covers and protects the satellite during the launch operations. I have marked it in pink color because this is the area where I have worked in ISRO almost 20 years. That is, I have marked, this was my expertise. Technically, managerially, I have different fields, but then there is a stage separations. Each stage, each rocket motor, after it active space, it should be separated and removed. That is the stage separation system. That is the another area I worked. Then you have got control systems for a launch vehicle, guidance, navigation, telemetry, tracking, also launch facilities and services. These are various subsystems related to launch vehicles. Similarly, there are so many subsystems related to satellites, so that we will not go into very detail, but we will just run through such basic information. Right now, these are our launch vehicles. This is PSLV, you know, in the left side is the workforce of ISRO so far. 2 days back, we had a 50th operational launch. So we had totally 53 launches, and we had 2 failures. but a continuation project, that was the 50th launch we had. This is the GSLV, geosynchronous satellite orbit. GSLV is popularly known. It is also running now. And the next one is the GSLV Mark III. It's a big vehicle which can launch up to 4 tons of satellite into orbit. We had only few flights. This is going to be another big player in the launch vehicle scenario in India. And a new small satellite launch vehicle is developed by ISRO. It should have been launched in 2020. Because of COVID, probably it is slightly delayed. In 2021, this is going to be there. It can launch up to 500 kgs. It's a small satellite launcher, because we get lot of requirements for small satellites and student satellites. Right now we are using this PSLV and GSLV for that also. Now we are dedicating a small satellite for that purpose, which can be easily assembled, integrated and launched. This vehicle is totally developed by a private sector company. We'll come to that probably later. In Hyderabad, a company they have been formed. They are planning to supply the total launch vehicle itself. So this is going to be the future next year onwards. Maybe further all satellites also will be provided by private players. So this is the big scope for satellites also. These are the satellite where are basic elements related to that. Of course, I will not go into details. There are mission payload marked in violet, and communication payloads are shown in green. Also, we have a thermal control system marked in tint of gray and tint of yellow and red. That is the thermal control system to prevent the overheating of the satellites. We have got a pointing system. Antennas should be pointing to the proper directions. That is shown in yellow color. These are the various sensors and communication devices. And command and data shown in green. These are the blue. Blue is showing your communication aspects, and power supply is shown in the red. These are the solar panels and the battery, etc., related to power system. So these are the basic structure of satellite. We will not go into details again. This is again indicated earlier. There is a space segment, there is a ground segment to the whole satellite operation. You have to choose where you want to work depending on your ease of convenience, where you are located, which is your technology available with you. You can liaise with any of these activities. And how it is being structured, the startup activities in ISRO currently and future. You can get into research, design and development, verification, validation, testing, etc. This is a new thing. Earlier it was not there. It's a new area you can enter into that activity. Now raw material, standard parts, components, subassemblies already this is on. It is going on. There are small players, big players in this area. Then you can get into production processes, subassembly, assembly activities. It is going on already. Now you can have integration, launch operations is being done now in a very, very limited extent. But this in future it will be a great opportunity in this area also. There are product assurance, testing activities. Right now it is not there much, limited to work contracts only. This area also opening up in a big way. Work contract is existing already, because now large number of work contracts are going on all these areas. So already startup people are here, cooperative society formed, technical societies are there, they all do work contracts. How you enter into the startup with ISRO, you can, number of area you can enter, and how you exit also. You can exit at any of these stages, or you can take up as a total activity. If you want to enter as a big business, you can go through all these cycles. So these are the entry strategies, entry options. You have got plenty. You have got exit options. So you can choose depending on your technology expertise and also how much money you want to invest. Your options are many. You have to choose wisely which you want to select, what area you want to correct.
total system-wise also you can do it. So I will suggest for small players, it may be better to enter as a work contracts initially. The advantage is that it is better you understand how ISRO systems work, so that your total business can be optimized. So that way, getting small work contracts and learning these things will be good for small players. But big players like Reliance or Godrej, etc., they are already experienced. They will take a total system contracts. So you can also approach some of these major subcontractors and get through them. So these are number of strategies, areas you can try for startups with ISRO. And what are some of the new missions coming years? These are some of the missions, interesting missions what are going to be there. You will be able to participate in a limited extent into these areas, but there are many more programs are coming. We will watch for that. We will get into that later. These are some of the pictures. This shows Chandrayaan 2 likely to happen next year, delayed due to COVID. Then Aditya, that is a solar mission, is going to take place, and the Venus mission is in the conceptual stage. Venus as well as solar missions are in the concept stage. It will take few years. Gaganyaan is a manned mission. It is delayed due to COVID again. Otherwise, probably next year it should have happened, but definitely within few years this will happen. There is a lot of opportunities for startups there, new ideas. There are all social activities also will get into that. No, how to use it. You send man to space, but what to do there? What you can do for human space by sending people. So these are the things people have to think and contribute. Your thinking contribution is required. Your hard work is also required. Now, what are these future space technologies likely to emerge and which is needed? Also, low-cost space technologies. I already indicated they're very much needed. That is why startups are required. See, right now the cost is around 20 lakhs per kilogram of satellite you launch into low Earth orbit. If it is going to geostationary orbit, it is going to be at least 5 times costlier. So you have to see, you have to bring down this cost. This 20 lakh per kg is a foreign satellites, but ISRO launch at around 6 to 5 lakh per kg. That is why Indian launches are in demand worldwide, because we launch at low cost. So many technology satellites and student satellites comes to ISRO for their launching. But our aim is to still bring it down to 2 lakh per kg, because already US, SpaceX and some other people in private sector, they are coming in a big way. They already put their target as 2 lakh per kg of launch into cost, such a low cost. So ISRO cannot go happily with the current situation. We also should achieve such a low cost launch vehicle, launch transportation systems. So it's a big area for startups to come there, contribute. Then propulsion system is another area. Right now, our our launch vehicles and satellites travel at maximum 30 kilometers per second. But you have to break it. You have to go to much higher velocity. There are technological barriers right now. We have to break it in propulsion. For example, I will show you the Mars mission. It takes around 300 days. After launching, after 300 days only you are landing in Mars. So future, when you are thinking about sending people there, making colonies in Mars, habitats in Mars, this is not workable. You should not waste 1 year, almost 1 year for travel. It is very, very difficult. Our progress is going to be very slow. So a technological breakthrough is required here. These are the youngsters, definitely college students. I'm not limited to college students, even old people also can bring new ideas, no bar. But I am motivating youngsters. You should come up with great ideas how to break these barriers, technology barriers. One is cost barrier, another is a technology barrier. You have got challenges of different types. So the space research is going to be exciting for youngsters. Then large space structures. Right now we know what is the biggest structure is the International Space Station, which is the size of a football ground. but we have to think of bigger structures when you are going for solar power, power from space, and many other things. You are going to be think of much bigger structures. Then space robotics is another area which is already there, but a lot of developments have to take place. Ultimately, we are thinking of man mission. Now US, Russia, they are going to space station, etc. Now America is thinking of going to moon also. But why we should send a man? If you can make a very efficient robots, current robots cannot do the function of a man. Definitely they are inferior. But we should develop robot to such an extent that the human can be replaced from space flight. It's very difficult to support a man, safety issues to send him to space is a very costly affair. That is why India was not willing to do that. But now we have taken it as a challenge. But if the new generation can develop space robots to the efficiency of a person, a man or a woman, we should replace humans from space activity, at least in outer space. We should manage with robots. Also, space docking also important. When you send a vehicle, you should dock to the existence system in the space. All of us know how they do in International Space Station, how they dock it, how they send people, etc. We already know it. But India, this expertise has to develop. We are not still very mature. We have done some minimum work, but there is a lot of scope for improvement there. Definitely protection of humans, I told, is a big question mark. Lot of scope for new technologies, new thinking, and in-orbiting services is a very important aspect. We know the trajectory of space shuttle. We lost 7 astronauts in space when they were returning because they knew there was a damage to the space shuttle while immediately after launch. But the point is that they had no way to repair it. There was no technology available. Right now they have attended some technology to do some minimum servicing on space to take care of the problem which happened in the space shuttle, but that is not adequate. There are a lot of scope for in-orbit servicing of satellites and space stations. Then active debris management is another big issue. You may be aware of that. I will show a picture. You see, this is the debris going on. Various launches we have done. It's damaged satellites are there, exploded satellite components are there. More than 5 lakh pieces are running around the space where we are going to send our satellites and our humans. So it is a dangerous situation. Definitely a technology has to develop how to remove it. It's a big technology area where people can work into that. Now they are doing something, but it's not adequate. Still a lot of scope is there. Now definitely the industrial revolution 4, lot of new technologies are coming, as you especially students know all these things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, 3D printing, etc. And many more things are to be added. You have to see how all these things can be cost effectively used in space. You see, we should not do it for a curiosity. Curiosity is required. Ultimately, we should see that it is very cost effective. When you apply somewhere, you should not add to the cost. We should bring down the cost. You remember the aims I put in the beginning. That should be better, cheaper, faster. All these things should be in our mind when you apply all these high technologies. We should not do anything for technology's sake. You should see that society is benefited. Sometimes I find, many students' projects I review in colleges, sometimes the cost aspect they forget. Initially, definitely you should forget the cost. But when you come to application stage, cost should be a criteria. It should be ease of using. For the customer is a criteria. These are all important things we should not forget. Then sustainable space activities is a big issue. As you know, the world sustainability is a problem. You know what are the climate change, etc. The space also should take care of that aspects. Right now it is not fully taken care, but there are a lot of scope for introducing the environmentally less damaging activities, propellants, propulsion, and various other things. So there you have to focus on the product, process, people, profit, planet. These interlinking activities. You should find out a way out of this situation so that our environment is damaged, our planet is worth livable. So we will continue. Some of the space future technologies will show pictures only. You may be knowing Mars. Already they are having Mars rover doing experiments in Mars. They have got a chemical analysis lab. There is a drilling facilities. Our people know already. Already there is a Curiosity. One more they are sending. I think it has already gone. So more activities coming. Then Moon. They are going to make a colony, trying to make a colony. I don't know how far it will be pursued. They are thinking Moon as a intermediary station before going to Mars. So that way Moon has got a scope as a intermediate station. Also they have to search for resources there. What are resources are available for to exploit, which is not available on Earth. Also Mars activity is going to be a big way. It may take some more time, longer time. It is worth pursuing going to Mars. Mars colonies and habitats are going to be the future. It may take 5 years, maybe 10 years or 20 years. We don't know how much time. They have put some time span. We may exceed this time span, but it is going to be a great challenge. That is what you have to do it. Now space station, I told earlier, is the size of a football ground, International Space Station. Now they are going to extend the life of this station another 5 years, but bigger structures are required when you have to tap the solar energy from from the space. You want kilometers of structures. Is a technology required. Robotics is required. Docking is required. Many other technologies are required for this field. So here also, if you have got any quick questions, you can ask here, put in the chat box. At the end of the discussion, we will take up those points. In between, I will not try to answer. It may be difficult. Now, I hope by this time I have impressed upon the ISRO areas and segments for startups, future space technologies. What are the technologies? These are the things I have covered in this part of the presentation. If any comments, if any questions there, doubts there, you put in the chat box. Now we will get into what type of strategies we can use into getting into ISRO startups. Right now, as I told earlier, there is ISRO centers, existing centers are there. There are interfaces for startups now, Antrix and NSIL right now. NSIL is recently formed. They are going to take up, system level, large system level startups. You have to contact through them in future. Right now, you can contact any ISRO center. Those lists I will give you later. And in space, as I told you earlier, this is a newly formed entity. This is getting formulated. The details will come in another 1 or 2 months. An emerging entity. What all things will get into that? This is going to be a major player with the startups and policy decisions. So these are the 2 areas. Future, you will have to interact. Big players have to contact these people. Antrix future, as I told earlier, it may exist separately or it may likely to merge with NSIL activity. Now, right now, there are major system suppliers are there. There are subsystem suppliers are there. Component suppliers are there. Material suppliers are there. Right now, you can approach any of these agencies, either directly ISRO centers or through major subsystem suppliers or small component suppliers. Any one of them you can enter into ISRO startup. You can right now you can contact NSIL, Antrix also. But Antrix now right now they are focusing only on satellite launched by ISRO. If you want to give a satellite, student satellite or a bigger satellite to ISRO launch service, you can contact through Antrix. but this will get reformulated by January, February. We will watch for that. Otherwise, you can contact any of these agencies. ISRO centers, I will give you a list where you can contact immediately. Later, more details will come. Now, right now, what are the major suppliers are Hindustan Aeronautical. I told HIL is aircraft manufacturer, defense aircraft, commercial aircraft. That is the area they are working. Defense, definitely they are working. Commercial aircraft, I don't know what they are doing. Right now, I don't have the details, but they don't have a passenger aircraft still. I don't know. So many years, this is one pitiable thing. We don't have a passenger aircraft made in India. It's a very pathetic situation. So this is definitely is an area where startups can work, but I am not going to cover there today, and that is not my field also. But you have got definitely scope in. But for ISRO also, they are a major supplier, major structures, especially I told interstate structures in between rocket motors. All of them are supplied by them. And the payload fairing, I told you, satellite protecting device is a huge structure. It is supplied by HIL Aerospace Wing. They have got a aerospace wing. ISRO interact with them. So you can be subcontracted to HIL to ISRO also. And if you want to enter later into aircraft industry, HIL is the right place. And defense and passenger aircraft, later they may come up into that. So one area you can look for that. And their Godrej Aerospace supplies the mainly liquid engine, cryo engine, major engines and structures to ISRO. Then Larsen and Toubro give a lot of the solid motor structures they are giving now. These are all crores of business they are doing it. Tata Advanced Material, they give large number of composite products to ISRO. I worked in composite structure area also in ISRO. Now we have shifted many items being produced by TAML, that is Tata Advanced Material. They supply a lot of production items to composite products to ISRO. This is another area. There are many other smaller players. But Keltron, in Kerala, Keltron is a major supplier. They give all electronic packages and devices. Now they have started supplying to DRDO, that is defense also. So Keltron is one area for getting into startups through the Department of Space as well as ISRO. Definitely you can supply directly to ISRO also, this is possible. Data Pattern, another company in Chennai who give a number of packages to both ISRO and defense. There are so many other smaller players. And then material suppliers are there, Midani. They give maraging steel and all type of high titanium alloys, very costly material. The Midani give. There's a government undertaking in Hyderabad. Balco supply mainly aluminum products to ISRO and defense. Avdal is a fastener supplier, is a foreign origin, but now there is a Indian unit available. Fastener, these are the areas right now, major suppliers to ISRO. Definitely Reliance Aerospace, Mahindra Aerospace, Tata Aerospace, these are all in the initial stages. They are in future, they are going to be big players. Startups can also contact such agencies through getting to ISRO to supply ISRO items. So there is a big area opening up for startups for ISRO in different ways. Now Skyroot Aerospace is the company, what I told, a small satellite launch vehicle which can launch 500 kg satellite. It is Hyderabad based company. They are going to supply whole total launch vehicle, small satellite launch vehicle, definitely. There is the beginning. Small companies can give a PSLV itself to ISRO. I see we can foresee such a future. So there is a big opportunity for startups. Now, if you are interested, there is another reference. It gives ISRO vendor information. 410 pages are available on internet. You can take a snapshot of this, or later in my reference list also it is included. Such a big list of vendors are already available. It is not a small list, 400 pages. So each page may contain at least 10-15 suppliers. So such a huge list of suppliers are there, both Indian origin and foreign origin. So you can go through these details if you want to know more details about how to operate, what all type of things they supply. You can get into that. Now we will get into the ISRO structure right now, and what are some of the major centers. I will give you information. This is the overall current organization structure. I will not get into details of this. Prime Minister, of course, the chief of the Department of Space. Under that, we have got various centers given here, and also we have got autonomous bodies mainly doing research and supporting facilities. IIST is the technology institute giving graduation, post-graduation and doctorates. IIST in Trivandrum, Valiamala. These are all right now coming under ISRO. Now this structure is getting restructured. You are going to get in space a new entity. It will be formulated. It is already formulated. Maybe within 1 or 2 months you will get more details about this. Also, right now if you have got any subassembly, assembly, component supply, you can contact any of the ISRO centers or any of the autonomous bodies listed here. The expansion of this is given here, the abbreviations and their expansion is given on the right side, each center. And of course there is NSIL and Antrix is there. These are all public sector units. So startups, you can come through them also. So these are the overall structure of ISRO, what is right now, and the future is in space, and NSIL come in a big way. Now major systems you have to come through NSIL or Antrix or in space. These are going to be the future agencies for major suppliers. But small suppliers, small, micro, medium, small scale sector, you can contact the individual centers directly. So I will show you the websites of major centers next. These are the major centers. Other centers you can see later. Major centers. Trivandrum itself, there are 3 major centers. Vikram Sarabhai Space Center is there. You got a liquid propulsion system center is there in Trivandrum. They have got in Mahendragiri, in Tamil Nadu. Also they got a Bangalore unit. But if you contact the Trivandrum, that is the headquarters, you can get access to all other units. Also there is a inertial system unit in Trivandrum, Vattiurkavu. That is another area. Then the Satish Dhawan Space Center SHAR is in Sriharikota, Tamil Nadu border. Then you have the URO Space Center, satellites, 4 satellites, and Satellite Application Center. The Satellite Center is in Bangalore. Satellite Application Center in Ahmedabad. You got remote sensing centers are there. Human Space Flight Center is there, Bangalore. These are the places you can right now contact if you want any startup requirements. And this is how, all over India such units are there, ISRO units are there. So any part of India, because depending on your interest, you can contact the concerned people. South India, there are 8 major centers are there within South India, which will be accessible for people in Kerala and Trivandrum. So lot of opportunities in South India itself. But in this current situation, these all virtual contacts you can have. You need not limit to South India. Any center you can contact and take up work depending on your technology area. There's no limitation is there. These are some of the websites. You can take a screen print. The currently existing centers and activities. This is a website. You will get lot of details, contact address, everything you can get from there. You can start contacting them immediately and try to get more information. These websites you can search. This is another startup contact points in ISRO is available here. Their website is also given here. Then technology transfer coordination cell is there in Trivandrum under Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. The technology transfer right now, I showed in the initial slide a large number of technology transfer is. This is the agency so far who has done it. You can still contact them if you want any technology transfer. This is one of the easy way to get into startup in ISRO, because technology is already available with ISRO. You start interacting with them, you start producing and supply to them. They will help you in building your industry. They may not give you finance, but they will give you all technical know-how. They will train your people. These are the things what is will help you to if you want a technology transfer type of thing in your startup industry. Now this is another newly formed thing. This is connected with the Trivandrum Engineering College. They have made a technology park, science and technology park. You can contact them. They are also want to give startup activities related to ISRO. That will be another useful agency for you to interact. You can either contact the CET Engineering College or the Trust Park at Kerala Government.in. Any of these agency you can contact. Now we are coming to the last part of the presentation. I have taken more than 1 hour. Sorry. I hope you are not bored. But if here nice. Also you can.
It was very nice, sir.
Okay, thank you. So some of the covered, so what are the ISRO strategies for startups I have covered. So key ISRO centers I have covered. Here also any questions, any doubts or any comments, any suggestions, you please put in the
chat box.
The chat box. At the end of the presentation, we will try to address them. Then what are the skills you can learn from ISRO? Or you enter into startup with ISRO, what you should have? Some of the skills are required anywhere you work as an entrepreneur, but some are specifically required for ISRO. I will give you a short list. I will not be able to get into details. So what entrepreneurs can learn from ISRO or for ISRO startup? Any basic entrepreneur will require certain skills. This you will be already knowing it. So I will put in a very short form. You should know the desirability, feasibility, viability. These are the way an entrepreneur should start. You should not start that I have got some funds, I will enter into business. Most of them will fail. But this is the route you should take. Desirability, feasibility, viability. Then you get into scalability, sustainability. These are the 5 elements or 5 entities through which you should progress your startup activity. You can become a big player. If you skip these steps, you will be in problem. So desirability, feasibility, viability, again scalability, sustainability. Any field, not only ISRO, anywhere you want to do an entrepreneurship job, these are your 5 commandments. You have to go through that process. I will put in a different way also. It may be useful for some people, especially students and research people. You should also through another route. It is not the same route, expressed in a different way, useful for research people. You enter into the thing, then you explore a discovery phase, then you start experimenting it. Especially for engineering science, this model may be easier. Then you start experiencing it, then you exploit it, then you exit it. These are the cycles required for a entrepreneur wherever you work. So with this we will get into ISRO. Finance and accounting I need not tell, because that is any entrepreneur startup, this is their core. Without that there is no issue. But I am not a person in that field. So, but I know Kerala, there are so many people giving you information on these aspects. So our people are there is no dearth of knowledge here. Definitely there are a number of people. Any entrepreneur program I see 90% cover these aspects, 10% only other aspects. But we should not forget that other 10%, which is very, very vital. With finance alone, if you can manage your entrepreneurship or startup, is very dangerous. This is the experience I have got in Kerala. I contact many people, certain skills I can give to entrepreneurs. They tell me, even government body, they want only finance, nothing else. So I get a rare opportunity to give people the skills, other skills required for entrepreneurs. And probably that is the reason, 80% of the startups fail within 1 or 2 years. That is the statistics. I cannot tell. Some comments I got from some people in the field in Kerala, India. So if you have to change that situation, you need other skills also, very vital skills. But no way you cannot forget finance and accounting is the vital thing. It is essential, backbone. But you should have other skills also if you have to survive and flourish. So these are the skills, especially ISRO. If you think, you should have a strategic, innovative mind, very essential. You should have some design thinking skills, lean thinking skills, project thinking, project management skills, and you should have a product assurance, especially if you are talking about ISRO, space. Product assurance is a very vital skill set. These are all different skill sets required. Now we'll see what is strategic innovation. It consists of number of life skills. These following skills are a combination of this skill give you a strategic innovation skill. See, very important for an entrepreneur. I don't think not only ISRO, anywhere you do startup of entrepreneurship, you have to successful for 20 years, 30 years or more. These skills are essential. If you want to do a quick business 2-3 years and close it, skills are not required. Anybody can do it. Money only is required. Finance only is required. But if you want to stand for long, then these skills are coming. And design thinking, etc., design thinking, lean thinking, project thinking, etc., these are all separate skill sets itself. We cannot explain all these things in this presentation. Definitely you should have manufacturing skills. Safety, security is very essential in aerospace field. You cannot forget, especially when your space is opening for a private sector, safety, security is a big concern. I hope ISRO is taking care of such aspects, and all people working as a subsidiary or startup or entrepreneurs for ISRO should also be aware how to protect your activities, products, processes, intellectual property, etc., against security issues, safety issues. Very vital. That is why I marked it as a red. Many other area it is important, but especially in ISRO space, it's very vital. Defense also, it is very vital. So if you are entering into aerospace in general, whether defense or aircraft or aerospace or space, safety, security is very essential. You should learn something about that, how to protect your system, not only for money, other type of pilferages, and other bad elements. Now what is happening in the world and in India also. Now product assurance is another separate skill. You must be aware of these aspects. Quality control, you may be knowing quality assurance, reliability and testing, configuration control. These are the essential skills, awareness required when you are going to work with ISRO, space technology and defense. If you start working with them, definitely you will learn it in a long way. If you want a specific coaching on that, there are experts available. I have got a team under INSAM training cell. They give small trainings, small or big, whatever you want in this type of topic. This may be worth remembering these skills and topics. Whenever needed, you can use it. Also, one way is that you enter into the field and start working with ISRO. Slowly you will learn. That is another way. But if you know something beforehand, it will be also more useful. Now we have come to the end of the presentation. Long session, longer than I really expected. Thank you for being with me patiently. Now this is the recap. This is what I have covered. I have covered this also. Further things you will see later. Any interest group, really interest group is there. Next things we will cover separately later. Now with this I will close my discussion. Thank you all for patient listening.
Thank you, sir.
So we can get into discussion. You can go through chat box. I am not able to see the chat box.
Sir, one question is there. On Mr. Ishwar RB. Sir, how can a zero investment startup get into projects?
No, I did not follow. Can you repeat?
Sir, how can a zero investment startup get into projects?
Zero investment, I don't know. If you get into pure software supplier, probably that may be possible. If you are not in software, I don't know how to do as a zero investment. I don't know. There may be other experts in this group who can guide, without investment. without investment, you can take loan definitely. That is, without funding, I don't know how you can get into space unless it is a software alone activity. That may be investment may be zero or negligible. Another way I can think of that, you send your new ideas, proposals. That is another way. Okay. If you have got a bright idea which is useful for ISRO, you communicate with them. They may support you. They may not give you money as such. In the new setup, I don't know whether there is a provision for giving money. Right now, there is no provision for giving money as such. But through some universities, etc., colleges, etc., you can give as a project proposal, new ideas. Then you can work with ISRO, how they will give you technology support, they will give you, testing support, experimentation support, they will give you. But we will see few months whether any provision they are adding in ISRO new units to give money also, that we will explore within few months. So if anybody else know about the zero budgeting, zero finance startup, they can share also their experience, no problem.
Sir, I have a question.
Mr. Koshi അതിന് മറുപടി പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട് സർ.
Okay, what is that?
അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കോശി ലൈനിലുണ്ടോ മിസ്റ്റർ കോശി? അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് റൺസ് അറ്റ് സീറോ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഞാനും ഈശ്വർ ഒരേ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പിലാണ്.
Okay, so can you give some guideline so that it will be useful for me also?
ഓക്കെ, നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ഫീൽഡ് ആണ്. സാറ് പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഹാർഡ്വെയർ അല്ല, സോഫ്റ്റ്വെയർ ഫീൽഡ് ആണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് സീറോ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് അത് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്. ബാക്കിയുള്ള റൂം ഫെസിലിറ്റീസ് എല്ലാം നമുക്ക് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു. സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ഇപ്പൊ കേരള യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ ആ ഒരു ഇൻക്യുബേറ്റർ ഫെസിലിറ്റി കിട്ടി. അപ്പൊ അതിന് വാടക റെന്റ് ഒന്നും ഇനിഷ്യലി ഇല്ല. ഇനിഷ്യലി ഒരു വർഷത്തേക്ക് 2 വർഷത്തേക്ക് ഇല്ല.
Okay, definitely. ISRO also is thinking about such thing under the new structure. I think if you watch for 2-3 months, these things will come. See, the Bangalore, they are trying to start something like that. So what you asked may come under 3 months. I don't know what all places it will come. Such details you have to wait and see.
Okay.
It is possible in future. Okay, thank you.
So any other? Sir, I have a question.
പറഞ്ഞു ആഘോഷ്.
Sir, normally for ISRO, what the other bigger players are doing is they are supplying hardware, right? They manufacture the parts and they will supply to it, right?
Okay, different things are there. One is the raw materials. See, metallic structure, metallic materials, composite materials, raw materials for that. Then there are small components, fabricated components, electronic packages, and Godrej, etc. They Godrej, L&D, etc. They give you total assembled structure. HAL give you a payload fairing in interstage, totally assembled structure. These are worth crores.
Okay, sir. So my question is, so yes. To get a contract from ISRO to provide them a hardware, is it yes. a requirement that we require a mechanical workshop, or we have to show them the team who are coming to us, they have to visit our facility? Is it a requirement, or should we require such a facility for that?
See, it depends on what is the type of product you want to have. See, if you are having only software thing, may not be required. But if you want to tell that, I will supply you an industry structure, there will be number of bidders.
Okay.
So they will take a assessment.
Sir, I would like to know that as an entrepreneur, first of all, when we think about that, the first thing which I came into my mind is regarding the hardware part, supplying hardware part, and not the software. കാരണം എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നില്ല ഡിസൈൻ എല്ലാം പുറമെ നിന്ന് അവർ എടുത്ത് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നില്ല. I mean,
future it will come. Right now it is not there. Future it will come. So you have to wait and see.
See, sir, my question is like this. ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ഒരു അവസ്ഥയിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ ഹാർഡ്വെയർ മാത്രമാണ് ISRO പുറമെ നിന്ന് എടുക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ, ഇപ്പൊ എന്നെ പോലെ ഒരാള്, അതായത് ഐ ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് ആൻ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ ഫെസിലിറ്റി, സോ അത്തരം അങ്ങനെ ഒരാൾക്ക് എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇവരുടെ ഈ പറയുന്ന ഒരു കോൺട്രാക്ട് കിട്ടുക? Is
So
there any hope?
a purchase department is there in all the centers. I have references. I have shown that. Probably I will give to these things to our organizer, Samuel sir. He can circulate to you. You can contact number of where you will bid it, what are the purchase section, website, etc. So you can look for their notification, or you can give as a promising supplier. You can also write to them. So future they will include you in the bidding list. So a number of ways, but definitely before placing order, they will confirm that you have got the capability for supplying that particular item, because there are already approved vendors are there. So you have to compete with them and then show that your products are having equivalent quality and equivalent cost or better cost. So that assessment will definitely place. Nobody will give you a blind order unless you come as a university. You want to take up as a project, a small project. See, that is another way. You learn things by as a small project proposal, university proposal. Are you a student or an entrepreneur already?
I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a teacher.
Professor.
Teacher. So as a teacher through university, you can propose small projects. See, if they like it, they may not give you money right now, but another 3 months situation may change. They can give you money also. Under Respond, there are universities, there is a Respond program. I had given the website in the list. So you can approach through them, Respond. They liaise with university research activities. They will offer you your, right now, the test facilities, technical support, expertise, mentoring, etc. They will give you. So money will not be much there involved. But if you want to enter as a supplier of a product, that is a different cycle. So universities you give as a proposal, to a research proposal or project proposal, they will consider and.
Okay, so I got to your point. So, like two things, that is either hardware or software.
Yes.
Other than this, any other, any other option an entrepreneur have?
There are work contracts that I told you, that is already, see, almost I think ISRO 20% works are done by work contracts within the center. So you form a society or something like that entity, you supply expertise, skilled labor to them. So you can contact the center, any of the center, depending on your location. Where is your location now?
Kaladi.
You have got a ISRO small plant there, no? Ammonium percolated plant.
It's near to Alua.
So you can contact them. See, I'm telling geographically it is easier for you. But there may not be any research activity there. That is a production center. But if you liaise with them, your students, it may be easier for transportation wise. So you can liaise with them. You see anything you can do there new or their existing thing you can take up. So you can liaise with them. But Trivandrum is a bigger unit. A lot of activities are there. Electronics is there, software is there, hardware is there. Anywhere you can enter. So you contact through the website. You contact them and they will definitely help.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other suggestion or any other?
Mr. Ishwar's ഒരു ചോദ്യം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
Yes.
Sir, how can a research project become a product with the ISRO project? എനിക്കത് മനസ്സിലായില്ല എന്താണെന്ന്. Is Mr. Ishwar there?
You can have a research activity with ISRO, no problem. He said under university is simpler.
Ishwar left ആയെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
Okay. Now, any other people also may be interested. The project linking may be difficult. A project, they will not like to disturb. We have got projects, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, GSLV, etc. The projects, they may not take directly research activity from outside. Now, what they will do, a project require a technology advancement. Within ISRO, there are research units. They will liaise with them. So they will be doing research activity. So if you approach ISRO main center and their technology transfer cells, they will guide you to the proper place.
Directly, a project may not entertain a new research activity directly coming to them. It has got a research verification, testing, approval system is there. It has to get approved, prove its reliability, then only it gets into project. So I think directly going to project may not be feasible, or it may not be useful also. You have to approach the research units within each center, or technology transfer cell. These are the areas you have to contact. But if it is a big project idea, you have to go to InSpace or NSIL, which I have told earlier, which will come within 2-3 months. Details will come. Maybe at that time we can have one more session, where big players can get directly into research activity, but that is getting formulated now. So any other?
വേറെ സംശയങ്ങളൊന്നും ഇല്ലാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. വേറെ ആരും? ഷീൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും?
പ്രത്യേകിച്ചൊന്നും ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാനില്ല. ബട്ട് ഐ തിങ്ക് ഓൾ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ഹിയർ, when you want to do something new, always it is one thing to think out of the box, but always see that whatever you design or whatever idea you have, it is closely associated with the existing products or things that are happening around. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll waste a lot of your time and resources trying to implement something which might not be the actual requirement for the industry. So what I would in other words, what I would suggest is, first try to understand the industry, what its situation is, and where they are facing problems or they are wanting to see an innovation. Then get into that and innovate. When you as students study something, you will have a lot of ideas. Now that is natural. When we read new things, when we study new things, a lot of ideas will come. Might be those ideas were already thought of in the industry and they have already arrived at a certain conclusion, and a product or device is already in existence. You might not be knowing about it. So first get in touch with people in the industry, learn the basics, and then if you decide, okay, if you come to know, okay, the idea I have is good for the industry, then it is very easy to come out with a new product or set up a new business. Otherwise, I think that is one reason why most startups don't fare well, because once they launch the product or get into the market, then they find there are not many people wanting the product, or the product is not up to the mark. So then all the effort you put in, all the money you invested, everything goes waste. So this is something I find the youngsters, they feel they've wasted their money or their time or their opportunity, and then they give up the desire to pursue entrepreneurship. Then they take up a job and go back like anyone else. So your time, your resource, everything is important. When you have an idea, do cross check and see.
It is very, very correct. That is why I told you one model in the entrepreneurship skill, desirability. Yes. You told that word. Desirability is the first element you have to see.
Yes.
Okay? Under desirability, first step is to identify a problem.
Yes, that's
customized problem.
Exactly. I find that there are many geniuses in our colleges, in our schools, a lot of brilliant minds, but within a few years they fade away because of this one reason. They end up, their first innovation or first idea doesn't work, so they give up. One reason for that is they were not very practical when they started out.
That is what, see, you told very important things, that is the innovation skill training I do. Yes. My first step is to finding a problem.
Exactly.
Second thing also you told, second important step is that don't go for first idea.
Yes.
Unless you have minimum 10 ideas, don't start anything.
Exactly.
So this is the way you do that, that innovation training, there is a step-by-step process I give them. If you undergo that, it may be much better, better chance of a success.
You're right, sir.
So you have to tie your idea with a problem, or still better, you get a problem, then find an idea. That is a better approach. Now, you are absolutely right. You have told right points. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheen. ഷീൻ്റെ പ്രോജക്റ്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഒരു 2 വാക്ക് പറഞ്ഞൂടെ?
എൻ്റെ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ഒരു ഹോബിയിൽ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങിയത്. As a kid, I loved, like all of you here, I believe you all like anything connected with flying bodies. So I too loved aircrafts, and I started as a hobby. As a kid, I used to, design and make my own toys. So I developed a lot of hand skills while I was small, say from the age of 7 onwards. Throughout my teenage, I've made all my toys and things which I like to design. So that skill, along with my love for aircraft, that got me into aero modeling. So at the age of 10, I got to know about aero modeling, but I was in North India. I grew up in Bihar. So there were these shops in metros, like in Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, from where we could buy aero modeling kits. So in those years, in the 80s, 90s, those were the only sources. So I had very limited budget and very few opportunities to do that. But later on, when I started working and internet was available, I started ordering online. I started buying products. So I realized these are very simple things, but in India we don't have it, and or whatever we import from abroad, by the time it reaches India, it's so costly. It is not worth spending that much money. So that's when this thought of making these things in India came up. So one thought that I had in my mind is, when we make something in India, if the prices are higher than what the Chinese are pumping into India, then our business will be a failure. So my first idea was, see if it is possible to make things at prices lower than the Chinese, but of a good quality. So I had to spend a few years getting into that mode, and once I realized it's possible, that's when I launched my company. So we have been successful in that sense, with local materials, everything locally sourced. Accessories, certain accessories we import from abroad. We are distributors for a company named Dubro in USA. Basically, that's a company that makes everything from landing gears to fuel tanks for aircrafts, all scale modeled aircrafts. So like when NASA tries to make a prototype, it is from this company Dubro that they purchase all the spares. So we are fortunate to be able to supply the same here in India to the hobbyists. There's a huge range of products that they have, from control links to fuel tanks and landing gears. A lot of things are there, nearly 600 products. So all these products and our kits, everything, we try to put them together and come out with the best of products. So we are now, over the past few years, we've been supplying to hobbies, NCC, Air NCC. We've supplied some to NIAT, that is Naval Institute of Aeronautics Technology. So and some engineering colleges. Every year we sponsor students who are appearing for the SAE competition, aero modeling competition. This year we had around 8 colleges sending their students, and they all came up with their own designs. So students design the aircrafts, we supply the accessories and sponsor the balsa wood pieces which we cut and give to them according to their design. So that's how we've been involved in this field. It's been a good experience. And one thing I would like to add is, in these times, when you talk of RC aircraft, everyone thinks about drones, and everyone is going crazy about drones. But one thing I want to warn everyone is, drone as such, if you look at the shape of a drone on its own, it's not a flying body. It's just structurally, it is just meant to hold the avionics and the motors. But when you look at an aircraft is designed to fly. So even if all the systems in an aircraft fail, it will still glide through air. So learning about how an aircraft is designed, how as Sir and everyone else in ISRO does, how they design a rocket. These are the things that will lead you to design a better drone. Don't jump straight into the drone industry. First learn basics of aeronautics, and then it will be easy for you to develop a drone. Nowadays, what I find is everyone thinks they can do this lateral entry, straight away get into drone design and development. That is more about programming and electronics and stuff like that. But if you have a background connected with designing an aircraft, designing a rocket or something, it will be very easy for you to understand design, how a drone should fly and how it can be programmed. I find that is important in India, especially since a lot of talent is there. You can have a complete solution only when you don't focus on one aspect of the industry. You try to get the best of that industry. That's one thing I would like to share with everyone, all the students especially.
Thank you.
Sheen sir.
Yes.
What's your company's name?
Glorod Avionics.
Yes, sir. Where it is located?
In Cochin itself.
Okay, sir. Okay.
സഹിലിൻ്റെ ഒരു ചോദ്യം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു സാറേ.
പറയൂ.
Is there any sectors or manufacturers that related to aerospace in Kerala?
Oh, plenty are there. I have given that 410 page supplier list. Definitely Kerala, Trivandrum, number of players are there. You can go through that list. You can get many.
Okay. Is there any more questions? I think there is no more questions there. Anyway, I think it is time to wind up the program here. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
One second. ഫ്രാൻസിസ് സാറിന് എത്ര നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞാലും പറ്റുകയില്ല. 4:45 കയറി ഇരുന്നതാണ്. ഇതിനിടയ്ക്ക് ഒരു അര ഗ്ലാസ് വെള്ളം കുടിക്കുന്നത് ഞാൻ കണ്ടു. ഇപ്പോൾ സമയം 7:05. ഇത്രയും ഏജ്ഡായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരാൾ ഇത്ര ഡെഡിക്കേറ്റഡായിട്ട് ഇങ്ങനൊരു പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എത്ര നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞാലും തീരാത്തൊരു കാര്യമാണ്. എല്ലാവർക്കും വേണ്ടി, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഞങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാ ബോർഡ് മെമ്പേഴ്സിനും വേണ്ടിയും ഇന്ന് പങ്കെടുത്ത എല്ലാവർക്കും വേണ്ടിയും സാറിനുള്ള നന്ദി രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുകയാണ്. ഇതിൻ്റെ തുടർന്നുള്ള പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് നമുക്ക് വീണ്ടും ആലോചിക്കാം. ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റുമായിട്ട് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോകാൻ താല്പര്യമുള്ളവർക്ക് വേണ്ട സൗകര്യങ്ങൾ ഞങ്ങൾ തന്നെ ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കുന്നതാണ്. ഈവൻ പേറ്റൻ്റ് ആണെങ്കിലും മറ്റ് രജിസ്ട്രേഷൻസ്, മറ്റ് ബാങ്ക് ഫിനാൻസ്, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള എല്ലാ സപ്പോർട്ടും സംരംഭം മിത്ര ഉറപ്പ് നൽകുന്നുണ്ട്. പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ
ഹലോ.
യെസ്,
ഹലോ, കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ സാർ? ഇപ്പോഴാണ് എന്റെ ഓഡിയോ കുറച്ച് ശരിയായത്. അപ്പൊ എനിക്കൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു സാറിന്റെ അടുത്ത്. അപ്പൊ ഇപ്പൊ ചോദിക്കാനുള്ള റൈറ്റ് ടൈം ആണോ അതോ ഇനി വൈൻഡ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്തത്?
ചോദിച്ചു.
അപ്പൊ സാർ, ഞങ്ങളെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇപ്പോൾ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഓഫ് കേരളയിൽ ഉള്ളൊരു സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പാണ്, സ്റ്റുഡൻറ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പാണ്. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾ ഇമേജ് പ്രോസസ്സിംഗ്, കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ വിഷൻ എന്നീ മേഖലകളിലാണ് മെയിനായിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രൈമറിലി ഞങ്ങളൊരു ബ്ലൈൻഡിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഒരു രീതിക്കാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇറങ്ങിയത്. അതായത് ഒരു ഹാർഡ്വെയർ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ബ്ലൈൻഡിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്, ബ്ലൈൻഡ്സിന് വേണ്ടി ഒരു ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ഡിക്റ്റേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് അത് നെറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പറയുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവരെ പാത്ത് ട്രാക്ക് ചെയ്ത് പറയുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത്. ഏകദേശം ഒരു അതിന് ഞങ്ങൾക്കത് കേരള സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് മിഷനിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു ഇത് ഷോർട്ട് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തു. അവസാനം അവർ ടെക്നിക്കൽ സപ്പോർട്ട് മാത്രം തരും. ഫസ്റ്റ് അവർ ഫണ്ടിങ് പ്രോമിസ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു, പക്ഷെ അത് കിട്ടിയില്ല. ടെക്നിക്കൽ സപ്പോർട്ട് മാത്രമേ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളൂ. പിന്നെ ആ ഫണ്ടിങ് ഇല്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് ഞങ്ങളുടെ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് നല്ല രീതിക്ക് ഷോർട്ടായി. അതായത് അത് ഡ്രോപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു രീതിക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞായിരുന്നു. സാർ, ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് വി ആർ ലൈക്ക് mostly technical people and we don't have any managerial or organizational type of people with us. അപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ്, ഒരു ISRO പ്രോജക്റ്റ് പോലുള്ളവർ എടുക്കാൻ നേരത്ത് ഒരു SME അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മെന്റർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പറ്റിയ ഒരു ഫീൽഡുമായിട്ട് എങ്ങനെ അലൈൻ ചെയ്ത് പോകുന്ന ഒരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു എന്താ പറയുക, അതായത് ഈ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ലോങ് റണ്ണിൽ എത്രത്തോളം വയബിൾ ആയിരിക്കും. ഒരു ഈ ടെൻഡർ എങ്ങനെ വിളിക്കുന്നു, അതേപോലെ തന്നെ ഈ ടാർഗറ്റഡ് കസ്റ്റമേഴ്സ് ലൈക്ക് ISRO ആണോ ലാസ്റ്റില് ഫൈനൽ ആയിട്ട് കസ്റ്റമേഴ്സ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് വേറെയും സ്കെയിലബിൾ ആയിട്ട് വേറെയും വേറെ സൊല്യൂഷൻസിലോട്ട് ഇന്റഗ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങളുടെ കയ്യിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ കറന്റ്ലി ഉള്ള ഒരു ഞങ്ങളിപ്പോ സാറ്റലൈറ്റ് ഇമേജ് സിസ്റ്റം ഞങ്ങൾ വർക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതില് സൂപ്പർ റെസൊല്യൂഷൻ മോഡൽസ് ആണ് ഞങ്ങൾ മാക്സിമം നോക്കിയിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്പോ അതായത് ഈ 10 മീറ്റർ റെസൊല്യൂഷൻ ഉള്ളത് 30 മീറ്റർ റെസൊല്യൂഷനിലോട്ട് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത് യൂസിങ് ഡീപ് ലേണിംഗ് മോഡൽസ് വെച്ചിട്ട്. അത് ജസ്റ്റ് എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റൽ സ്റ്റേജിലേ ആയിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അപ്പോ അതാണ് ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റൽ സ്റ്റേജിലുള്ളത് റിയൽ ടൈമിൽ വരാൻ നേരത്ത് മേ ബി ഇറ്റ് വോണ്ട് വർക്ക് 100%. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. അപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒരു റെസ്ട്രിക്റ്റഡ് എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റൽ എൻവയറമെന്റിലാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇതുപോലുള്ള ഒരു എൻവയറമെന്റിൽ നിന്നും ഒരു റിയൽ കേസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രൊജക്റ്റിലേക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ആക്കാൻ നേരത്ത് അതിൻ്റെതായ ഒരു ട്രാൻസ്ഫോം ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ലൈക്ക് ഫാൾ ബാക്സ് വേണം, ഡ്രോബാക്സ് വേണം. അപ്പോൾ അതിനനുസരിച്ച് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ടൈം ആൻഡ് മണി വിത്ത് ദിസ് സീറോ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ലൈക്ക് വി ആർ 4 partners and we haven't invested anything into it. അപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഇതിൽ നിന്നും ഒരു റവന്യൂ ജനറേഷൻ ലൈക്ക് ഹൗ ക്യാൻ വി ഹാവ്, അതാണ് എൻ്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ.
See, you have got a product, 1 or 2, not it?
Okay.
So, which area you have to market it, you have to see. Whether ISRO will be interested, you have to discuss with them, because a guide for a blind person is one thing. So that is a very socially very relevant project. There's no doubt about that.
സാർ അത് പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പോ കറന്റ്ലി ഇല്ല. കാരണം ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിന്റെ ഒരു ഫണ്ടിങ്ങും ഒരു ഫോളോ അപ്പും ഇതുവരെ പിന്നെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ലായിരുന്നു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് അത് ഡ്രോപ്പ് ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു.
Surprised, it is a socially very relevant project. You are not getting funds means I am surprised, but I don't know our forum, Samrambhak Mithra, whether I can find out a customer. Any social related, see now so many companies are having social responsibility fund is there, no CSR funds are there. So you have to contact such companies whether they will be able to fund it. Or our Samrambhak Mithra also, they have got number of mentors and experts are there. You can contact them also to get some advice, because I am not a finance person. So I cannot guide you with respect to finance. But ISRO may be interested. You have got basically a technology, because that particular technology, whether there is any application for ISRO, that also you can search through ISRO contact points. See, even though it is meant for a blind person guidance, but that technology may be applicable somewhere else in a ISRO thing. See, you are assembling large structures, these structures should not hit anywhere. We have at times some problems like that. The very, very large structure, you have to assemble it. At that time, you should not have any interference or hitting. So, whether this technology can be adapted to such applications, then ISRO will be interested. So ISRO may not be directly interested in a technology as applied for a blind person, but the basic technology, it has got a multiple application. So it may not be not only ISRO, it may have application in many other fields. So probably you have to open your mind. You see what are the diversification you can do with respect to the technology. Then you have to contact the appropriate the companies who are interested in that field. So I think you have got a multiple products can come out of your basic technology. So I think because I am not a finance person, so finance side I may not be able to give any guidance. But our Samrambhak Mithra, they have got a number of experts. Another thing, companies have got a social responsibility thing, CSR funds. It is already available. Many companies, they don't know how to spend it. So if it is really worth to society, definitely more than one company will be able to help you. That is what I feel. You contact some maybe companies like Tata, many companies. But do you got any mentor from your Kerala startup?
മിഷൻ അൺഫോർച്ചുനേറ്റ്ലി ആ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് അന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഷോർട്ട് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തതിന് ശേഷം പിന്നെ അതിനൊരു ഫോളോ അപ്പും കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ലായിരുന്നു. അത് കാരണം അത് കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി ഡ്രോപ്പ് ചെയ്യുകയാണ് ചെയ്തത്. അതായത് ഞങ്ങൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ആ ഒരു ഐഡിയ പ്രസന്റേഷൻ, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് അതിന്റെ ഷോർട്ട് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആ ഒരു ഫേസ് മാത്രമേ ഞങ്ങൾ കടന്നിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അതിനുശേഷം അതിലോട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ അധികം ടൈം ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. കാരണം അതിന് ഒരു നോ സർ, അത് 1 year later, ലൈക്ക് ഞങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പൊ ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞ ഈ കോവിഡിന്റെ സമയത്ത് കോവിഡിന്റെ ഇത് കോവിഡ് ചെസ്റ്റ് എക്സ്റേസ് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു ക്ലാസിഫിക്കേഷൻ ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ
ഹലോ സാർ, സാർ ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഒരു കോഴ്സ് ഞാൻ ഈശ്വറിന്റെ കൂടെ പാർട്ട്ണറാണ് കമ്പനിയിലെ. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ ഒരു സീറോ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഈ ബ്ലൈൻഡിന്റെ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് വന്നപ്പോൾ അതിനകത്ത് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റിന്റെ ആവശ്യം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമുക്കൊരു കേരള സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് മിഷനിൽ നമ്മൾക്ക് ഇനിഷ്യൽ കേസിൽ അവർ അപ്രൂവ് ആയി, പക്ഷെ ഫണ്ടോ കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കോ ഒന്നും ആയില്ല. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമുക്കത് ഡ്രോപ്പ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട അവസ്ഥ വന്നു. കാര്യം ആ ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ്
So I think you have to search for different companies with a corporate responsibility funds, because this is a socially relevant project. It's very important for society.
Okay, sir.
So if such a product is not already marketed by somebody else, that is why I ask for patent. If it is worth the patent.
Sir, അത് ഇല്ല സാർ, ആ ഒരു ഐഡിയ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ സാർ, കോവിഡിന്റെ ഒരു കേസ് വന്നപ്പോൾ ഈ കോവിഡ് നെറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു മോഡൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ ആ മോഡൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ ഒരു കൊറിയക്കാരാണ്. അപ്പൊ അവിടെ ആ റിസർച്ചേഴ്സ് ഇത് ഓൾറെഡി അവർ പേപ്പറാക്കി അവർ ഇതൊരു പബ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ആക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അവർ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ റിസർച്ചും ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അവർക്ക് നല്ല രീതിയിൽ ഫണ്ടും കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട് അതിന്. അപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിന്റെ ഒരു കണക്ടിവിറ്റി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് സത്യം പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആ ഒരു ഇതിലില്ലായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾ ഓൾട്ടർനേറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മെത്തഡ്സ്, വേറെ സൊല്യൂഷൻസ് ആണ് ഞങ്ങൾ പിന്നെ തേടിപ്പോയത്. അതായത് സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് പ്രോജക്റ്റ് എടുത്ത് വെച്ച് ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു, ലൈക്ക് സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് മെന്ററിങ്, അതിനുശേഷം ഈ ഡീപ് ലേണിംഗ്, മെഷീൻ ലേണിംഗ്, ഇതിന്റെയൊക്കെ ക്ലാസ്സസ് എടുക്കുമായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ ഇതേപോലെയുള്ള ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു ഈ ബ്ലഡ് ഗ്ലൂക്കോസ് വെച്ചിട്ട്, അതായത് ബ്ലഡിന്റെ ബ്ലഡ് കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിന്റെ ഗ്ലൂക്കോസ് എടുത്ത് വെച്ചിട്ട് അതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അതിൽ എത്രത്തോളം ഷുഗർ കണ്ടന്റ് വരുമെന്ന് പ്രെഡിക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു മൊബൈൽ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ഞങ്ങൾ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തത്. അതൊരു സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് ഇന്റേൺഷിപ്പ് പോലുള്ള ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ആണ്.
ഇപ്പൊ എന്താണ് ശരിക്കും ഇഷ്യൂ
സാർ? ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്, ഞങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോ ഇതേപോലുള്ള വലിയ പ്രോജക്ട്സ് എടുക്കുന്നത് കുഴപ്പമില്ല, പക്ഷെ അത് എങ്ങനെയാണ് അതിനെ ഫോളോ അപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്ത് പോകുന്നത്, അതിനെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയുമായിട്ട് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അത് ഈ ഒരു സ്റ്റേജസ് എങ്ങനെ പിടിക്കുന്നു, അതായത് ഫ്രം ഐഡിയ സ്റ്റേജ് ടു കസ്റ്റമർ എൻഡ്, അതൊരു പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ഡെലിവറി സ്റ്റേജ് വരെ അത് എങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കും, ആ ജേർണി മാപ്പ് എങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കും എന്നുള്ളത് വ്യക്തമായാൽ കൊള്ളാം.
നമുക്ക് മറ്റൊരു സെഷനിൽ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യാവുന്നതാണ്. ഇത് നമുക്ക് എക്സ്ക്ലൂസീവ്ലി ഫോർ സം അതർ പർപ്പസ്. ഈ പറയുന്ന സാധനം മറ്റൊരു ഏരിയ തന്നെയാണ്. അത് നമുക്ക് ഡീറ്റെയിൽഡായിട്ട് ഞാൻ ടേക്കപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. അത് തന്നെയല്ല, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ട സൗകര്യങ്ങൾ ഞങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തു തരാം.
Yes, definitely. It is an important activity.
സാറിന്റെ കമ്പനിയുടെ പേജ് ഒന്നും കൂടി ഒന്ന് പറയൂ. നേരത്തെ
സംരംഭക് മിത്ര എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു NGO ആണ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി വരുന്ന പിന്നെ വെർച്വൽ സപ്പോർട്ടോ അല്ലാതെയുള്ള ഫിസിക്കൽ സപ്പോർട്ടോ ഞങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തു തരാം. അത് ഞങ്ങളെ കോൺടാക്ട് ചെയ്താൽ മതി. സംരംഭക് മിത്ര ആ ഗ്രൂപ്പിൽ തന്നെ കിടപ്പുണ്ടല്ലോ അനിയ.
അല്ല, ഷീൻ സാറിന്റെ
ഏവിയോണിക്സ്,
ഗ്ലോറോഡ് ഏവിയോണിക്സ്, GLOROD, Gloron Avionics.
എറണാകുളം. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഇത് വൈൻഡപ്പ്
ആസ് എ മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയർ നമ്മൾ കേരള എയറോസ്പേസ് ലെവൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ട കേപ്പബിലിറ്റീസ് എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്? അതായത് ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ സോളിഡ് വർക്ക്സ് പഠിക്കണോ അതോ പ്രോഗ്രാമിംഗ് ലെവൽ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് ആസ് എ മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയർ ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് എയറോസ്പേസ് ലെവൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി?
Basically, what is your interest? What do you want to do? Just want to work, or like you have a specific
design aerospace design.
So at first, it is a good beginning. You can start with that, and then accordingly, as you proceed, you can take up other skills, build up other skills.
Okay, sir. സാറിന്റെ കമ്പനിയുടെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് നെറ്റി നോക്കിയാൽ കിട്ടുമല്ലോ സർ?
ഇപ്പൊ സൈറ്റ് ഒരു 1 വീക്കും കൂടെ പിടിക്കും. ഞങ്ങളുടെ സൈറ്റ് അപ്ഡേഷൻ ആയിരുന്നു, അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ ഫുൾ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് വന്നിട്ടില്ല. പ്രൊഡക്ട്സും കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ കേറ്റാറുണ്ട്.
സാറിന്റെ നമ്പർ തരുമെങ്കിൽ വളരെ ഹെൽപ്പായി.
നമ്പർ ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ ചാറ്റിലിട്ടാ മതിയോ?
ഓക്കെ സാർ,
ചാറ്റിലിട്ടാ മതി.
ഓക്കെ.
അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഫ്രാൻസ് സാറേ നമുക്കിത് വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ എല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി നന്ദി പറയുന്നു. ഇതിൻ്റെ തുടർച്ചയുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനം നമുക്ക് 2 ആഴ്ച കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഞാൻ നോക്കട്ടെ, ബാക്കിയുള്ളവർക്കും കൂടെ ചേർന്നുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് അടുത്ത പ്രോഗ്രാമിലേക്ക് പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യാം. അതുവരെ എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി. താങ്ക് യു.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you sir. സാറേ ഞാൻ പിന്നെ വിളിക്കാം.
Okay
sir. Thank you all.